As always, my friends, welcome to the eSeniors. My name is Juan Antonio Mena, as you know. I hope you can hear me all right. And we are ready to give us some good action here on Imola, round 6 of the championship. And of course, we are accompanied by my best mate ever, Mr. Jeremy Arrobas. Jeremy, good evening.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. A pleasure to be here for this race. Really looking forward to the action today.
That is fantastic, Mr. Arrobas. We got a packed grid tonight. And what we're going to do directly, we're just going to go and take a look at the standings. As you can see there, those are the standings. Of course, without today's race, welcome Peter to the stream. And as you can see, Andrea Cayola is leading with 232 points. Chris Bourne is just behind with 206. Jonathan Wood on P3 with 204. And there it goes on with Van der Voort, Elkland, Gerard, Bestjak, Bird, Ponav, and Holtz for the top 10. Very tight grid, at least in the championship already. We're at halfway point, Mr. Arrobas. And let me tell you, it's going to be an exciting second half, isn't it?
Absolutely. I believe things are going to start changing today. We're going to see probably Jonathan Wood dominating this race. He just posted a 141.7, which is absolutely insane pace. So and that's going to change the outcome of the championship. That's big points coming in. We also have a newcomer, Chris Moses. He raced 2 weeks ago with Group 2 and literally walked the group. He almost finished a half a lap ahead of everyone. He's a new, very fast driver, but his points won't count in when the championship is just joined. So, but it's going to be interesting to see him in the mix today.
Indeed, I think it's going to be very fun. And of course, we want to welcome Chris Baker's niece. Here she is. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a great time. And I heard that you just turned 13, so happy birthday for you. I hope you're having a great evening, and I'm very glad you enjoy these streams. That is fantastic to see.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes, we got Jeremy Arrobas. He's a singer, and you should check him out. He sings very well. I love him. Indeed. See that everybody is getting ready to rock and roll. And why don't we just move forward and check on the action? Of course, they are ready to go into qualifying. Let's just do that right now. There we are. As you can see at the moment, Jonathan Wood is with a 41.7. That is an incredible lap.
Absolutely insane.
I'm guessing this is for qualifying, but nonetheless, that is just insane pace, huh?
Absolutely incredible.
Well, Mr. Arrobas, we are ready to move into qualifying. It is 15 minutes of hard racing here in this qualifying session, and everybody is starting to make a move. And my friends, yes, no stuttering. It is fixed, or please tell me that it's fixed. It's not, I'm just gonna go cry. But hopefully it is. My friends,
it is fixed.
It is fixed. Oh, Arrobas, please give me a kiss. I love you, my friend. We are the champions.
Yes, we are.
We made it happen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go right on board with this qualifying session. Of course, big thank yous to our sponsors. You can see them at the top. Aqua Green, Sindeo, and of course, PWS. So big thank you to everybody involved. I am still having personal issues with the liveries, but hopefully I will finally be able to sort that out. Unfortunately, AC it's not being too friendly with me. You've seen it throughout the weeks, but let's go with the action. You can see everybody is getting their tires ready. 33 degrees on the track, Jeremy, and optimum doesn't look too bad. A tiny hot, but good.
Yeah, the server is set that way. I mean, when you start the session, the track is optimum. So, yeah, that's really good for qualifying. I think that will help everyone.
Indeed, and as I said, 33 degrees. Just a tiny notch on the hot side, but nonetheless, I think it's a very good temperature to go and qualify. There you see Mark Christopher, of course, with that lovely PWS livery. Please let us know if you can hear Mr. Robas, the game, and myself well. That'd be a pleasure to know. Welcome to the stream, Jaime.
Hello, Jaime, Peter.
And there you see Christopher is going to start his flying lap. Let's go on board with him and let's do a little bit of a track guide. Of course, we head ourselves into the first Variante Tamborello. Go hard on the curb. He's taking it slowly for now. There you see now. Turns 1, 2, and 3. Variante Villeneuve in front of us. Welcome, Wooly Pie. There you see. Very good job on Villeneuve. You need to keep yourself at maximum on the left on the first corner and then completely shout it. Now we're going to Tosa. And now up the hill we go into Piratella. We are getting closer to it. Welcome everybody to the stream. Last Eklund, Mr. Stephens. It's a pleasure to see you all. Piratella in front of us. Very tricky braking zone. As you can see, it's going to go hard on the curb. I don't know if that helped him too much. Welcome, Mr. Hutchin. And now, of course, the classic Aqua Minerale. A very tricky set of corners. And as you can see, Mr. Christopher, even though it's not going the fastest he can, that was a pretty smooth one. Variante Alta now. There you see. Go hard on this right-hander, and on the left-hander, you can go a little hard, but not as much as Mr. Christopher did. And, of course, the last two corners, the Ribazzas. We go down the hill again, down the hill, braking zone. Not easy to do. Let's see, that's a good entry on Christopher's side. Of course, the second Ribazza. Be careful with those yellow sausages. They can completely shoot you off the wall. And that is a full lap of Imola. Mr. Robas, let's see what Christopher is going to put on the board for now. Pocock takes a provisional pole with a 43.6. Christopher is going to put a 44.6, just 1 second behind.
And here we go, 142.3 for Jonathan, 140 and a half a second slower for Andrea, which is very interesting because they're lapping literally a half second from each other, so they're qualifying very close to each other.
No, indeed, I like that things are starting to get close. Weird and Cayola separating themselves from the rest. Danny Holmes with a very good lap indeed at the moment, holding P3. We are now with John Saunders. Let's see what he's going to be able to put. Let's see some more people joining the stream. That's lovely. Mr. Queen, left foot. Nice to see you all here. And yes, we're going to take a look at that man that you just mentioned. There you see Saunders is going to claim P3. You were talking about this man. We are going to go straight with him. Chris Moses. There you see him. He has impressed everybody on this championship, and now it is time for him to show up and, you know, to show us what he's capable of. We know he's very fast. He has already put himself on P5 and is looking to put a way better lap than that. Welcome, Mr. LaFrance. Welcome, Epic. God, things are I love it. I see everybody joining the stream now. Of course, share it with your friends, your family, whoever you'd like to watch this absolute extravaganza of racing. And of course, smash that like button. I'm new here and I'm Chris Baker's niece. Wait, is this your other account? Oi, Moses drifting.
Yeah, I just lost it there. But Mark Pocock with a stunning lap here, and he's P2 right now. Very close to Jonathan. I'm sure he's going to be thrilled with that lap.
Wow, look at that. Mikhail Hochberg on P2. Wow, yes. That's a lap right there.
Yeah, see, there is something. I believe BMWs have an advantage on this track. They are easier to handle and they take the curb a lot better than the rest. So you get an advantage if you're trying if you're driving the BMW on this track.
Most definitely, the BMW has its advantages, and I think it excels here in Imola. Baker now
Absolutely.
looking to put a 43 on the board, and I think he's going to be able to do so. He jumps straight to P10. Let's go now with one Mr. Eric Dont, the Belgium. He's going to cross the line right now. Unfortunately, not going to be able to improve too much. And Mr. Rojas, I would like to ask you, why don't you give us a little bit of an overview of what can happen on the start of the race? Because we know Variante Tomborello is not an easy corner to make.
No, it's true. It's a very fast track. I believe Jonathan is going to lead from P1, and depending on who's there. But see, if we have the top 5 the way they are now, it should be a safe start. But anything can happen. Yesterday with Group 2, there were a couple of incidents. Hopefully, we won't see too many at the start. And but you never know. You never know. I just wanted to mention. Yes, unfortunately, Lars cannot be with us today because he has a knee injury. So we'll be missing you, Lars, and looking forward to have you in the next race.
I really hope that knee feels better soon, my friend. Welcome, Obando. J Money.
Hello, Robert.
Sorry, I'm gonna call you J Money for the rest of my life, Mr. Rojas. J Money, right there. Isn't it lovely? There you see Hawkbird with a fantastic lap.
Absolutely. This is a surprise, actually. I wasn't expecting him in the top 3. I mean, we're not done yet. There's still 6 minutes to go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he's going to make a mistake through Aqua Minerale. Let's go now with the Jeffrey van der Boer. He has been pretty shy in this qualifying session so far, but he's starting to push as much as he can. 5/10 up. He would put himself in the 43s. Mears will take the pole. Okay, I like that. I like some bets here on stream. So please, everybody, let us know, who do you think is going to claim that top spot in this qualifying session? I see already 20 people. Come on, boys and girls.
And here's Jonathan in the first
Wow.
41.8. I don't think anyone will even get close to that. And yeah, no, I don't agree with you, because Mercher won't be on pole today. It's Jonathan Wood who will be on pole. This is a stunning lap. And Michael Hartberg is maintaining his P2. And he means business, no doubt about that.
Indeed, my God, what a lap from Wood, 41.8. That is fantastic. Craig Holmes is going to put himself in P3. Sheesh, man, look at that. So between P2 and P3, 1/10, one exact 10th. Pocock is 2/10 behind, just exactly 2/10. And
yeah, see, Mark, since Mark posted this time, he's sitting in the pits. I think he's very, very happy with the lap he did, and I think it's the fastest lap he ever did on this track. So he's just gonna wait for the start of the race. I don't think he will be out again.
Yeah, you know.
And here we go, Chris Moses, P3.
There you have the
and look at the difference of times between Michael and Chris Moses. It's absolutely insane. 5/10 of a second.
Yeah, just 5,000. That's incredible. That's so close.
It's
but wait, Chris Moses is in the first sector and he's already 2/10 up. So beware, because this man might challenge Jonathan Wood if he keeps on going like this.
Yeah, he could.
So let's see. We're gonna go on board with him. Jonathan Wood updates the time with a 41.797. Let's see if Moses can do something about it, or at least try to take Hochbert's time and put himself in P2. We'll see. First one in free. Oh my God, Avando. I hope you're not talking about what we are talking here, because the last time we talked about medicine, I don't even want to remember. Cayola on P6 is going to be able to improve by just a little bit. Maybe he's going to put himself on the 42s. Yes, he does. 42.827. Puts himself in P5. Let's see. Is it a Soul Robert? My God. oh, Lord. Things are going down south, my friends. 3 minutes remaining of those qualifying sessions. We are now with John Saunders, who finds himself in Piratella. Very good exit, indeed. We go now into Aquaminata. Be careful, especially with the Ferrari. Not a car that can take a lot of curve. There you can see he completely avoids it. Now he needs to nail this exit. That is a very good one from Mr. Saunders. He could put himself in the 42s. Maybe he could challenge for the top 3. We go now with him. Variante Alta. Here we go. Very aggressive on the entry. Same goes for the exit. Very good lines from Mr. Saunders. Right now, he will put himself on a 42.8, and that would skyrocket him to P5. If he gets a couple more tenths, he should be able to contest the P3. We'll see, because it all comes down to Ribazza. Now Ribazza to the right exit. That is good indeed. Will it be enough, though? Ladies and gentlemen, the finish line is just in front of him. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Saunders is going to cross the line. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a 42.6 P4.
Very nice.
Very close between Hochberg, Moses, and Saunders and Holmes. My God, what a qualifying session. But you know something? This man does not stop improving. Jonathan Wood still 2/10 up, and he keeps on coming. My God, this man is on fire tonight.
He definitely means business. And he's gonna be the man to watch in this race, no doubt about that. But he's gonna have close competition. We have like the top 6 in the same second, so it's gonna be very intense racing.
Indeed, I cannot wait for the race to start. Let's go now with Chris Bourne. Unfortunately, gonna lose the time here in Aqua Minerale. Chris Moses. 2/10 up. That should be the P2 for him. Hochberg is going to go for one more. It's 1 minute 20 remaining. There you see Moses is going to claim the P2. And now it's time for Hochberg to try for the last time in this qualifying session. Let's see if he can make it happen. Moses is going to abort his last lap. He's going to call it there. And he's just going to wait. Hochberg goes too wide. And now he's not going to be able to try it. So for now, Moses will put himself in P2 unless this Ferrari.
He won't have enough. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I got bad news for him, because it looks like Saunders just got a great exit out of Ribazza. He might be able to clutch it here and put himself in P3. He's going to cross the finish line right now, and he does.
Nice, very nice.
P3.
Very nice.
And look at this man. He's flying like a rocket right now. Andrea Cayola. He was a little shy throughout the session. It's not usual to see him on P6 or below that, but my God, this man is flying now. Will he be able to take the P2? Will he be able to take the pole position? Ladies and gentlemen, he's 5/10 up. Let's see, the finish line is just in front of him. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a 42.2, and he goes straight to P2. Clutch lap from the Italian.
Nice. Very nice.
The Tifosi crowd jumping all over the board for the Italian. Chris Bourne is also flying, but he's finding himself with Peter de Jong just in front. He's 5/10 up. He will put himself in low 43s. Let's see if de Jong is going to be a nuisance for him or not. We go now close to Variante Alta. There you see the curves of the corners that I just mentioned to you. And for now, Bourne is losing a little bit of time. He needs to nail this exit. Mr. de Jong is not improving, and this is slowing Chris Bourne massively. He has lost 4/10 already. That is not what you want to see, but ladies and gentlemen, it looks like things are said and done. Jonathan Wood is going to claim the pole position, and Andrea Cayola is going to in it on P2. Chris Moses with a fantastic lap on P3. And then Saunders and Hochberg for the top 5. We got 6 people within the second. Jonathan Wood with a fantastic performance here. We are going to go right into the race, Mr. Roas.
Yes, what a stunning pole position with a 141.7. I don't think anyone has broken into the 41 except him.
Yeah, he was the only one. So it is time to go for the race, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, we want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. Thankfully, we've been able to fix the stuttering issues. And of course, as you know, we're going to do a little bit of a great walk, because you know I love it. Look at how smooth that. Smooth as silk. Smooth as silk. Jesus, I don't even know how to speak English anymore because of how excited I am, Mr. Rojas. We are gonna go with the full grid. There you see, it's gonna be Jonathan Wood in the lead, then Andrea Cayola, then of course with a great performance, Mr. Moses Saunders, then Hogbert and Holmes, Pocock, Ponap, Bourne, and Nemeth for the top 10, then Howard, Bywater, Van der Voort, Holtz, Christopher Rogers, Baker, Daunt, Mark and Trowbridge for the top 20, and then Whitton Noble, Bird, De Jong, Howells, and of course our lovely commentator. As always, we're gonna end inside his head. There you see him, Mr. Jeremy Rojas. Now we're on his feet, and now we're on his board. Let's go straight into action. There you see the full pack of cars, and we are ready to give this a start, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so let's hope for a clean start. I believe we have very high skilled drivers in the top 10 here. Let's hope they give each other enough space.
Let's see. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be interesting and it's gonna be scary. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure.
If pandemonium happens, my God, that's going to be scary. That's going to be a bad time for most of the drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 seconds for the cars to start and for the race to finally get the green lights on. Mr. Rojas, any words you'd like to put before we go green?
Well, I think, once again, I think Jonathan is going to take this race. I think it's not going to be easy for him because quality times are quality times, but then you have to set the rhythm during the race. But I think he can easily lap in the 142s, and that will allow him to take this race.
Well, thank you very much for your insight, Mr. Rojas. We're gonna go live. Welcome, Mr. Petri, my man PJ Vitala. How we doing, my friend?
Hello, Petri.
45 minutes. Welcome, Shannon, to the stream. Get your ears ready, cause I'm about to get excited. The green lights are gonna come out in just a few seconds. There you see the onboard of Mr. Jonathan Wood. You can see it even better there. Let's jump on the helicopter. The green lights are gonna come out. This is gonna be the start of the race. Jonathan Wood leading, setting the pace and leading the pack. Cayola being very aggressive here with that very forward positioning. And here we go. It's the green.
And Andrea literally took the lead before. Oh yeah, that's.
Oh my God. Look at that, the two whites all over the board. As you can see, Cayola took the lead before we got into the green. No penalties for what it seems, so let's see.
I mean, yeah, but I
oh my Lord, give me a second, Mr. Rosa, 3 wide. Oh my Lord, that could have ended really bad, but everybody was being smart about it. Thank the Lord. There you see now, Mr. Pornhub is gonna go a little sideways. Thankfully, was able to save it. Same goes for Nemeth, who dives inside. Big fights all over the board. There you see everybody trying to survive. We got a yellow flag, and that is Peter De Jong. Let's try to take a replay. Oh, he made contact with Derek Bird. Oof, De Jong is gonna have a good time. Let's go back live.
Jonathan is really getting all over the back of Andrea, and Chris is is attacking as well. I mean, the top 5 here is like very close.
Well, let's see. I'm actually surprised that wasn't a penalty for Andrea Cayola.
No, I've seen that happen many times. It is possible to steal that P1 at the start and not get penalized.
Ooh, well, there you go. That is done. We were talking about the P1.
Okay, so yes, well, I've seen that happen too many times. Actually, it is possible to steal a position on the grid and not get penalized by the game.
Well, there you have it. He tried his best. Now, unfortunately, he's going to lose it because he made a mistake out of the entry of Rivazza. And that capitalized on the exit for Mr. Wood, who reclaims the lead. Look at that. Moses very close. He goes a little too hard on the curb. Now he has to defend from Mikael Hogbert, who's looking really strong at the moment. Will he try the inside on Valente Villeneuve? I do not think so. Let's go now with them in the middle of the pack.
Moses loses the car.
Moses has lost the car as well. Let's try to take a replay of that. There you see. Oh, too hard on the curb. Too hard on the entry of Valente Villeneuve. The rejoin, and he goes back in P11. I'm sure he's not happy at all about that. We also saw a little bit of an incident there between Van der Voort, Baker, and some other gentlemen. There you see now Mr. Baker himself, side by side with Jeffrey Van der Voort, who's going to be the one claiming the position. It looks like Baker is going to have to give it out. And now try a little later. Van der Voort goes off the track of Piratella. We go now into the lovely Aqua Minerale. Big pack of cars fighting here for P14. Van der Voort leading the pack. Welcome, Andreas, to the stream. Let's go now here with Mr. Mark Pocock himself. He's trying to catch Craig Holmes. The gaps are really open in the front of the pack. So we'll see if that is going to start closing in. Of course, no mandatory pit stops. 41 minutes of racing remaining. Just a couple of mistakes, but no hits so far. So, you know, I like that at least. We are not getting any big bumps. Wood with a 43-2. Very good lap from the man himself. Now we're here on board with don't. Careful, my friend. He nearly lost it there. We got Steve Howells. We're going to have to take a replay of that. What has happened to him? Let's take a look. Mr. Rojas, he was going down close to the Ribazzas. And we will see. Welcome, Mr. Wolfshine. Nice to see you here.
Hello, Peter.
What the hell was that? What?
That's crazy.
That's,
What just happened?
well, I wish I knew. That's the Porsche, I think, of, Mr. Derek Bird. Maybe he lost it on braking and he couldn't control it, but that looked very weird indeed. We're going to have to go quickly with John Saunders. There you see, he's really getting close now to Mikael Hogbert. Let's see if he can claim that top 3 spot on this race. Mark Pocock is really getting close. He goes a little on the grass, but he's still going to try something on Craig Holmes. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do so here. Through Variante Alta we go. That is a very bad exit from Mr. Pocock. And now he's going to find himself with one Mr. Chris Bourne, who's going to try and move here on Rivazza. Jeremy Arrolas. Let's see if your mate, Mr. Pocock, can defend it.
Yeah, you know, these are 2 very clean racers, very skilled racers. So I'm not expecting any hits from them, any mistakes. I mean, they are true gentlemen and very experimented, so I'm sure they are enjoying racing close like this.
Well, let's see how things turn out for now. Bourne 2 tenths behind. Of course, the slipstream is helping massively for that Lexus. And there you see, things are still looking calm, but that is not a very good exit from Pocock, who has to correct. And now, as you can see, Bourne is not even going to wait. He's going to go straight. We got Merch Ponov also with an incident. Let's see what happened to him. Then Malboro, too hard on the curb, too hard on the sausage. Overcorrection, and that didn't help him at all.
Oh, yeah.
Very unfortunate indeed. And nothing he could do. Look at that. He finds himself now in a big pack of cars. He has dropped directly to P19. There you see now Chris Moses, who's trying to recover from that mistake at the beginning of the race. Let's see if he can do so for now. P11, getting real close to Mark Rogers. We'll see if he can make that overtaking maneuver.
Yeah, I think with his skills and his speed, he could easily finish the race in the top 5. Let's see if he manages to do the rest of the race without any mistakes. I mean, this is also a track. It's very easy to make a mistake, and if you do a mistake on this track, you pay dearly. You lose a lot of time.
Indeed, and there you see Moses just made a tiny mistake, and he just lost half a second. Thankfully, was able to save it. Jonathan Wood warned us about being too hard on the sausage. Oh, damn right he did. I've been telling you for 2 years. Not 2 years, sorry, 2 seasons. The sausage on the table, not on the track, my friends. Always. Trowbridge
Yeah,
down.
so in the meantime, Jonathan Wood has put a 2.6 lead, and I think he's going to extend that lead as it goes. It's only 4 laps into the race. He has this amazing pace, and I think he's going to carry that pace to victory.
Well, there you see him. He seems so comfortable. And there you see the back of the car. He just seems so comfortable, so effortless. That is a very good driver indeed. Peter, you would have been a great ingredient to this race indeed. Oh, man. Peter, I miss you, mate. We all miss you, Mr. Wolfschleiner. Don't we, Mr. Robas?
Absolutely. I mean, looking forward to have you back in the championship, Peter.
Him, Carlo. Of course, Carlo. Look at that. Nicholas just mentioned him. Of course, Carlo Van Brabant. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. But yeah, we miss you all, my friends. 37 minutes of racing remaining. Bourne and Pocock still going at it. We saw Bourne trying to make a move. At the end, Pocock was able to claim it back. We'll see if they're still going to be trading positions for the next few laps. Carlo was on the server yesterday. Indeed. Oh, that's a good exit from Bourne. But he's not going to be able to try anything through Rivazza. He doesn't have enough speed to do so. There you see the vegetation of this lovely Italian land of Emilia Romagna. And here we have a move. Rogers, and look at that! Ooh, Chris Moses made contact with Howard.
Yeah.
That could have ended really badly. And look at the action. Oh, left and right. Oh my God. Is it playing zigzag? Unfortunately,
Wow.
Terry Howard is going to lose it. That was a very good effort. That must have hurt his arms. There you see, left, right. He tried his best. But at the end, unfortunately, he couldn't save it. Very unfortunate indeed. He drops to P21. You were talking about mistakes, pain, costly. There you see it. 12 positions. Warren nearly commits to the outside. Now, both of them go a little bit of the track here at the exit of Villeneuve. And look who has joined the fray, Mr. Laszlo Nemeth. Now looking very comfortable here. Just waiting for the dogs to attack one another. Woof. Things are starting to get hot, Mr. Robas. I love it.
Yeah, lots of little fights here. It's very nice to see. And that's gonna put pressure on everyone because it's a very fast track, and you need to be concentrated in all the turns. So the slightest mistake is gonna benefit the one chasing you.
Indeed, there you see Bourne left and right looking for the gap, but he ain't finding it yet. He needs to nail this exit through Variante Alta. It is a very good one, but it's not going to be enough. We see a trade here because now Chris Moses has made it through. Mark Rogers finds himself in P9 now. He needs to make a 5-second gap to catch these 3 men, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Pocock, Bourne, and Nemeth respectively. That is a good exit from Mr. Pocock himself. Let's go now a little further down the back. Danny Holtz, I was talking to him before. He said he wasn't too comfortable here at Imola. At the moment he's putting 45s, but I'm sure he's going to be able.
Yeah, you can see that Lexus has good top speed. And Mark almost lost the back of his car there. That was a nice save. Yeah, it's going to be an intense battle between the two of them, but I know they're enjoying that for sure.
There you see again, these two made a mistake through Villeneuve this time around. They're going to make it cleanly. The relative is the time you have on the standings, Mr. Pi. Welcome, Alma, to the stream as well. And let's see how things develop for now. Very heated fights all over the board. Let's go now with Roman Marcus getting caught by Trowbridge and Holtz. Meanwhile, you get little time to relax indeed. As Mr. Robas mentioned before, the tiniest mistake can cost you everything. But to be honest, 33 degrees, optimum track, it's a good weather condition. So at least they're not having to deal with bad weather like
That's right.
Like in another competition that I'm not going to mention because I do not want to spoil.
Now, I know, I just want to mention one thing. I'm not going to talk about the F1 race, but I'm going to say one thing about Imola, is that watching the F1, you realize how good ACC is. It's the real deal. When you're on track, on board the F1, and you see the track, you say, my God, I live the same experience with ACC. It's absolutely stunning.
Indeed, I agree with you. The tracks are so well done.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Like nowadays, you have so many different options where you can feel that. Of course, you know
Yeah.
what I'm gonna mention because you know I love driving it, Mr. iRacing.
Yes,
And
I know that.
it's also so good. But yeah, it's just such a pleasure to have this simulator in our hands. And look at how I was gonna try to move on Peter de Jong. We saw these two men have had a very accidental first couple of laps, and now they fight one another. Howells makes it through, no issues at all. We're gonna go now, Mr. John Saunders, who's really getting close to Michael Hulkberg again. Let me check the chat a little bit. Hey, Oli! Alioli, my friend. How we doing, my friend? I really hope you're doing great. Good morning to you. We're gonna check.
Ollie.
We're gonna check on the Slovenians in a little bit. And it doesn't even have to be your mistake that ends your day. That is correct. That is very correct indeed. And that applies to every single moment in racing. Holes was looking for an inside overtake maneuver here on Aqua Minerali that put the pressure on Mr. Trowbridge, and it might have helped him because the exit was good indeed. Will he be able to try something here? He's going to go for the inside line. No, he's not. He's just putting the pressure, trying to make Trowbridge succumb to it and lose the position. Let's take a quick look at the track map. There you see everything is really spread out now, and we've only had 8 laps of racing, but thankfully the cars are starting to group back again. There you see now Mr. Michael Hulkberg holding the speed 3 very consistently so far, putting 43 so all over the board. At the moment, the fastest.
But
Sorry.
He has John Saunders behind him, and he's very consistent. John, he could challenge him for P3 actually for that podium. So let's see.
I agree with you, Mister. And of course, now that we are close to halfway point, I would like you to please share the link with your friends, your family, whoever you like to get to see this fantastic race here at Imola, round 6, halfway point for the championship. So please, if you would like to, please share it and smash that like button, because that helps us massively. Because with that, with the feedback, we can improve, because obviously no one is perfect, Mr. Robas. We're always ready and willing to improve and to give the viewers a better experience, right?
Absolutely. So here again, Chris Bourne is really applying pressure on Mark, and Mark is responding beautifully. So this is an intense battle going between the two of them for a good while already.
There you see it. Very aggressive on the curve there from Mr. Bourne. That was a little too much. We had a little bit of a scratch here between Mark Holtz and Trowbridge, because Trowbridge just lost not 1 but 2. There you see Holtz now going through Ribazza. Good entry indeed. And that is a good exit as well from the second one. Well done, Chris Bourne. Seriously, Mark Pocock, you need to command him, because he is resistant to the pressure, because Chris Bourne hasn't stopped ever since the race started. This is some great racing between these two.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. You can see the strength and the weaknesses of each car. You can see that the Lexus has a little more top speed, but the BMW is glued to the track a little more than the Lexus. So it's a very interesting battle. I think it's going to be down to a simple mistake. If Mark doesn't make a mistake, he will maintain his position over Chris.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be the case, Mr. Robas. But these two are giving us a great showdown.
Absolutely.
No doubt at all. Now Van der Voort, who has jumped to P12, he's slowly but surely climbing the ladder. Not trying to catch Neil Byward. It's 7/10 of a second between these two. Let me check the chat a little bit. Would he resist the temptation of running his new gear? To be honest, I do not know about that. All I can tell you is that Wood right now is on another whole level. My God, the race this man is putting. 25 people on the stream. Thank you very much to every single one of you. We stay with Van der Voort, but we're gonna move quickly to Mr. Moses. He has already made that 5-second gap and finds himself behind Laszlo Nemeth. We also have the trade here. Pocock and Mr. Bourne. They trade positions. Let's go with Moses. Moses really tried his best. There you see, Pocock has gone out.
Oh,
I think it was by himself.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
Oh, too
Really
much throttle.
bad.
Too much throttle input while turning.
Really too bad.
That is unlucky. He loses 2 positions more. So Moses and Nemeth claim 7th and 8th. We go now with Mark Christopher, with David Noble. These two have been fighting for the last couple of laps. They are both in the 44s. That is unlucky for Mr. Pocock. Let's see if he can bring it back. Still has 26 minutes to do it, so don't count him out. I can tell you that for sure. There you see Mr. Van der Voort.
Yeah, John Saunders all over the back of Michael Hotberg right now, and really threatening for that P3.
Yeah, it has been like this since the beginning. Same goes between Bourne and Pocock. Unfortunately, it has ended in a worst way for these two. But now Hogwarts is really defending well. Saunders is not being able to find the gap, as you say. The BMW looks pretty strong through here, and no one is being able to challenge it. There you see now Merch Ponov trying to catch this pack of cars, led by Tony Whitten. Let's see if he can start getting set positions. We saw the start. It wasn't too good for Mr. Ponov. Now, let's see if he can bring it back at least to a top 15, a top 10. It's going to be a very hard task, Mr. Robas.
Absolutely. In the meantime, Jonathan now has a 5-second lead over Andrea, and Andrea has a 2-second lead over Michael. So the only person who can come change the outcome of this race is John Saunders right now, seriously challenging for that P3.
Indeed. He's really getting close. We'll see. Once he gets closer, we'll go back at him. Now we're back with Mr. Ponov because he's really pushing Eric down to the limit. Is he going to try the inside line on Villeneuve? It looked for a second like he would. He forces the bad exit for Mr. Don, but it's not going to be enough because Don had to correct, and he could have taken him down with him. He's going to go for a wider entry, of course, to secure the higher exit speed. That's a good exit from Ponov, but it's not going to be enough. Good racing from these two. Look at that now. Chris Moses on the back, on the tail of Laszlo Nemeth. This time around, Moses is really struggling to make it through. Moses with the Mercedes. What a lovely car. In my opinion, very underrated. The Mercedes AMG Gt3. Great car.
Yes, it's a tough car to drive. It's a beautiful car. It's one of the best looking GT3s I find. And Moses is the only one driving it. Actually, I believe it's virtually the only Mercedes we have racing.
I don't know why people don't drive it. In my opinion, it's a very.
Yeah, because it's a tough car to drive. I mean, when you're in the cockpit, I mean, I drove it a couple of times, and it's like you're on a carrier. You know, it's like the front of the car is so long. But it's a great car for a track like Monza, for example. I mean, top speed tracks. The Mercedes is awesome.
Ooh, look at that. Van der Voort trying something by water. And yes, I agree, it's hard. For me, for example, I think that car completely fits my driving style. So I think, to be honest, I think that and the Porsche are the only two cars I know how to drive. And I don't drive them too well. Of course, not having feedback is not a pleasant thing. I'm sure most of you will agree on that statement. But yeah, man, I'm glad that someone has, give it a shot. And Moses is putting on a very good performance so far. But look who has caught up to him already. Mark Pocock is back. He has joined the fray. And he is ready to fight. Uy, 1 second, 1 second. John Saunders has lost it on Variante Alta. Oh my god. Too hard on the exit curve.
There you go.
Oof.
So
that turns the tables.
Yeah, so Andreas Peterson is driving that Mercedes. I'm sorry, Andreas, I forgot that.
That is very unlucky indeed. Look at this now. Moses again very close to Laszlo Nemeth. Will this be the end of Nemeth on P7? It all comes down to the straight. 22 minutes remaining. And very good fights all over the board. Man, I'm so happy there is no more stuttering, eh? I'm about to cry.
Yeah, that's good.
The game looks good. Look at the Mercedes catching on. Look at the overspeed. Is he going to try it? Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to dive the inside. And Nemeth is not even going to put a fight on it. He knows fighting that doesn't make any sense at all. Let me tell you, one man that is going to be very happy is Mr. Mikael Hogbert. He was feeling the pressure for many, many laps. Now he has a 6-second gap behind.
That's good.
He's chilling. He's relaxed.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe we might have the final podium right now, unless someone makes a critical mistake.
Well, we'll see how that turns out for the top three. No problem, Jeremy. We are all seniors. Well, I'm the only one who's not a senior. Damn it! Why did you exclude me, Mr. Pearson? There you see. Oh, I'm a senior at heart. Then where I am.
I like Jaime. I drive the McLaren because it sounds fast, even when I'm not.
And that makes you look fast on the screen too, eh?
I like that.
Hey, Mr. Queen, I don't know.
Laszlo is challenging Chris Moses right now.
Oof, they nearly make contact going down the hill. Now, they stay in their positions to see if Nemeth can nail this exit. And there you go. And Mr. Queen, I don't know, mate. I really don't know, because they are actually different in their driving styles, but I actually like them both. I don't know if it's because of the setups that I work very weird with them, but yeah. Pocock!
Just avoided contact. It was a miracle. He was able to avoid that contact.
But now, because of that mistake, look who has caught up. Mr. Mike Rogers is not waiting for it. You can see Pocock is closing the door. Very smart from our lovely referee. That was a good defense. Very aggressive indeed. And he holds now, catching on Terry Trowbridge. 5P17 still alive. 25 cars on track. Don't put the commentary scores on the top three, Jay. They are blaming you, Mr. Rojas.
I know. I don't believe in curses, so there is no curse out there.
Hopefully not. I don't believe in them either, but sometimes that has proven to be wrong, one way or the other. Christopher now.
Well, unless you end up in a very obscure village in Haiti or Central Africa. I mean, yeah. Okay, you find a doll with your head on it and a few sticks through it. I mean, yeah, maybe you're cursed then.
Well, there you have it. I drive the MG and I felt like a bucket watch swinging on a chair. Well, that's one way of defining it. Oh my God, Don, you're the best, mate. Let me tell you, I miss Mr. Queen also here on the booth with me, eh? I remember we started out. You gotta join us, Jeremy and me, yeah, sometime, man.
Absolutely.
The best racing is at Imola. We should do it every week. Jaime, I applaud you, sir. The best track in the world. You are right, mister. Well, you put the curse on the 777 car when he was in P4. Well, there you see the 777 car is Mark Rogers, and he's fighting with Pocock. Very close racing between these two. Pocock is trying his best. We have someone Ay, 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 that is so rich. Let's see what happened to him, because he really smashed that wall. Did a Bottas Russell happen here? Let's take a look. We go through the finish line, very close between these two. Ooh, the switch around there. And oh, that
was contact.
that's a Bottas. That's a Bottas Russell right there.
Yeah. Well,
Oh man, that's not good at all.
no, that's an incoming penalty for sure.
You cannot make that happen on a straight. Ay, 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 ay. Saunders loses it again on Oh my God. That car is toast.
Big time.
The hit was massive on the wall. Let me tell you, that car can go take a nap. He's just dropping positions left and right, and he has just left the server. I'm sure he's not too happy about what just happened. He made the mistake before in the same place. Roger's now going to try something on Mark Poker. We go through the finish line. 17 minutes remaining. These two are going to go side by side. Let's see who's going to come out the victor out of Variante Tomborello. Side by side, they still go. Let's see if an incident is going to happen or not. Poker is going to be able to defend the inside. We're going out through Tomborello. Good exit from Mr. Rogers. Maybe he can try now on Villeneuve. That is a very bad exit from Mark Poker again, making the mistake on the exit of Tomborello. Now you can see he's closing the door. He's not letting it by, but let's see if now Pocock is going to overshoot it because of defending that hard. He is not. He's going to put it right into the limit, and he's going to be able to defend it. Good job from Pocock. Great defense, even though he made a mistake on Tom Morello. He brought it back with a great aggressive defense through Villeneuve. Well done from these two. There you see now, then he holds very close to Roman Mark. Fight is still on. Well, there's no space to make an overtaking maneuver. Let's go also with Van der Voort and Bywater. They're fighting for P10. Very good fights all over the board. What a fantastic race we're having, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing. There you see now Van der Voort on the inside. Variante Alta, here we go. And Van der Voort makes the move. But look at that. The Bentley, also a very good car with the curbs. And you can see he didn't struggle too much, but at least he's going to hold it safely and try to get it back. Holds. Going for a burrito ride. You know the electric boat where you get in and you start jumping like crazy on the theme park? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, that was actually Danny Holtz right there. My God. Bailando con el torito. Ay, ay, ay. Unfortunately, that's going to cost him massively. Just 2 seconds. Howard now very close to merge one of the 5 for P17 is on. Howard recovering very well from a big incident that we saw here in this exact corner. Ribazza 2. But he's bringing it back as we see them go through the finish line. We're going to take a look at the track map. There you see. Everything is so spread out amongst a couple of packs, and then just pure gaps. Let's go with Mr. Holtz. Let's take a look if he can catch up Roman Mark. And what do you think of this race so far, Mr. Robas?
I think it's a terrific race. Lots of little battles there and very entertaining.
I agree with you, mister. It's been a very good one. And ladies and gentlemen, please let us know if you are enjoying it as well. Because that, of course, is the most important part for all you to have a good time here with us. The eSeniors GT3 World Championship. You gotta love it. The best community ever. You damn right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, Mark Rogers is still challenging Mark Pocock. This could go to the last lap, last turn, you know.
Let me tell you. Do you think we're going to be able to see Chris Moses catch Chris Ward? Look at that. Nicholas just read my mind. Do you think he's going to be able to catch him? He has a 6-point gap.
You know, 6 seconds behind Chris Bourne. That's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult with 13 minutes to go. He needs a hell of a pace. and Chris is not an easy driver to pass. So I think it's going to be difficult.
Oh, there you saw on the screen. Nemeth is going to make a mistake on Tomborello, loses 2 positions and gets front damage. That is not going to feel too good. The steering seems fine, but the car, I'm sure, is not feeling too well after that hit on the wall. Well, let me tell you, one man that is really impressive and, you know, really showing his potential and his skills is Mikael Hogber. My God, what a race putting, huh?
Absolutely. He's doing a great race. Qualified very well, and most probably he's gonna end on the podium.
Hopefully, he deserves it for sure. And now that we have 12 minutes remaining, I would like to ask the audience, who is the driver of the day for you so far? There you see Mark Christopher is going to jump the exit of Aqua Minerali, and now Roman Mark says, hello, I'm coming in. He already makes the move before we get into the corner. Nearly making contact. Oh my God! My God, Danny Holtz! What was that? Let's take a replay. That was not what you wanted to try there. Look at that. He tried to move on the outside. Oof, that's that was
he went over that curb a little too hard.
That was a little risky. Unfortunately, he's gonna pay for it. Oh my God, nearly holds out, making contact with Ponov. Holtz has lost focus. Let's see if he can get it back. Craig Holmes doing really well. Indeed, Jaime. Indeed. Holmes is also putting on a great performance with this Bentley. Another car that suits this track to a T. Very good performance. To be honest, most of the drivers would, of course. He has led every single lap but the first one. And you can see he's just on another planet. He's put in 43 after 43 after 43 7-second gap. There you see he's on board. He's just relaxed.
Yeah, that's the reason why he's going to take this race. Keola also is doing a great race, but once again, I believe it's the advantage of the BMW on this track. I truly believe that gives you an edge.
Yeah, indeed, my friend. I agree with you. Noble now trying to get Chris Baker. Again, we say hello to his niece, sorry. That is on the chat, so big love to you, miss. And, well, that's what I've heard, that it was your birthday not too long ago. So, happy 13th birthday, my God. Mr. Robas, don't you wish that we both were 13? My God, I wish.
Yeah, that's right.
The young bucks.
Oh. Enjoy.
Indeed. Oh, man. That is lovely. Look at this man, Bourne. Right now is pushing like a maniac, a second behind Craig Holmes, and he's really catching. Wood driving like a robot. Indeed, he completely flawless. Just seriously, what a drive.
Yeah, Chris has made up a lot of positions. I don't remember where he qualified, but he at least made 6 to 5 positions since the beginning of the race. And now he's challenging for P4, so
look at that. Very close from Van der Voort. Let me check. Maybe the BMW has an advantage here, but the bloke behind the wheel has a bit to do with it. Indeed. You can have the best machinery in the world. If you don't know how to drive it, it doesn't matter. Wood is seriously putting on a banger of a race. There you see now Nemeth really being attacked by Van der Voort. Oh, that's very hard on the curb, my friend. Very, very hard indeed. But just the fact that Mr. Wood is 7 seconds ahead of Andrea Caiola, which is the current leader of the championship, that says something. Don't say that on the chat. Okay, sorry, Mr. Robas.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Mr. Queen, don't you ever mention a Spaniard from my heart, eh? Okay, continue, Mr. Rojas, please.
So Chris is really coming after Craig Holmes here.
There you see.
And I think he could take that P4.
But we'll see. Seriously, he's pushing on really hard. Holmes is trying his best. Baker loses the position momentarily. There you see the fight between both of them now. Baker loses not one but two. Side by side they go. And Christopher now is going to take the chance and make it through again. Giving 8 seconds to Andres. Unbelievable. Indeed, there's no other word for it. What a drive from Wood. And it seems for all of you he is. Just seriously, what a drive. Like what can you say? Absolutely flawless. Even with what happened on the start with Cayola getting into P1 before the green lights went out. Man, he has done just I don't have any words. What a drive. Hopefully we will see the same for the rest of the season.
Yeah. On this track, he definitely was on a class of his own, because the 141 to qualify. I mean, he was the only one to break into that, and the pace he has in the race is clearly he's in a league of his own. And with 6 minutes to go, he's definitely, to me, he's the driver of the day.
Yeah. You also have to commend, as I said, Hogberg, very good race. Holmes, same goes for him, but
absolutely
today,
great races, yes.
But today,
and Chris, yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Robas?
Chris Moses managed to shave 2 seconds off Chris Bourne, but I don't think it will be enough to catch him before the end of the race. On the other hand, I think Chris Bourne is will be able to snatch that P4.
Indeed. And we'll see, because look at that, it's just on his tail. Chris Bourne has made 2 positions ever since the start of the race. There you see how close these two are racing. This is the closest fight we have on track. Let's go on the helicopter to take a wider look of how things are going. But as I said, you need to commend, seriously, Hogberg, Holmes, Moses. Fantastic race. Even though he made that mistake, he's just bringing it back and not giving up, which is the most important part in a race, because anything can happen at any moment. We still have 5 minutes remaining, and there you see these two are still going at it. Let's go now with Roman Marcus really closing in on David Noble. You group for the eSeniors. AO, aliens only. You too, Oli. You're getting there too, huh? Woody has to be driver of the day. Well, it's pretty much a 100% hit there. So unless he makes a mistake, I'm guessing he's going to be the driver of the day, or even with a mistake. Because to be honest, he can make a mistake. He has an 8-second gap lead, so he can actually make a mistake and he's going to stay on the top, unless obviously he goes into the wall. So we'll see how things.
That's right. And here comes Chris. Chris is. Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Very close.
Side by side they go. Ooh, they nearly made contact at the exit of Tulsa. Now we go into Piratella. Bird has the inside. Sorry, the outside line. It's Mr. Holmes with the inside. They go side by side. Oh, that's a little too wide from Mr. Bourne. He's gonna have to give it up, but he's just showing his colors right now, and he's showing he wants this P4 badly. We're going now through Aqua Minerali on board with Chris Bourne. Here we go now up the hill, getting closer to Variante Alta. These two have been fighting ever since the beginning. What a great race from Chris Bourne from 6th to 4th, and pushing like an absolute maniac now in these last stages of the race. Very aggressive from Variante Alta. Very good exit as well. You can see the traction is good for both of them. Very good racing from these two, but Bourne is not being able to make it through. Holmes is defending like a lion. What an incredible defense this man is putting on in this last 10 minutes of this race. 3 remaining for the checkered flag to be out. And let's see, that's a very good exit from Bourne. Now it might be the time to see the move. They go side by side. And now Bourne might have the shot. Now they're officially completely side by side. Bourne already a little ahead. And I don't think Holmes is going to have too much to do here. He's going to come in on the outside line. Try to get a better exit here. Oh, Tomorello is not going to work out. And Bourne makes the move. Clutch maneuver. And thankfully not in the corner, so that was easier than he expected for sure. What a move. They trade positions.
Yeah, that was a very nice move, and here Chris Bourne definitely secured his P4.
Wow, what? Well, I don't know if secure, because Holmes is giving a fight. 3/10 behind, let's see. Well, let me tell you, this man is not going to give up. Look at that, he's just catching up. He's not going to let it go just like that.
No, and Chris Moses still is edging closer and closer. He's a very fast driver. He's now less than 4 seconds from Craig Holmes. But with 2 minutes to go, I don't think he will be able to claim another position.
Well, one thing I can tell you is we're going to have 2 more laps, because Wood is going to cross the line at the 150 mark. So we're going to have 2 more. The white flag will be dropped on the next one. Mark now trying to fight with David Noble. The fight has been going on for the last 15 minutes between these 2 gentlemen. And they are really being clean to one another. So that is nice to see. Great racing and a fantastic stream as always. I love you, Peter. Thank you very much. Holmes, as you can see, 4/10 behind. Is not giving it up. We know the Bentley can break real late, and he's going to take advantage of that. We go now through Tomborello, hard on the curbs for the Bentley. That's very nice indeed. He's catching up. We go now into Villeneuve. Let's go on his wanted camera to take a closer look at how he's going to take this line. Look at how aggressive he's being right now. Double shift down. And still, the gap stays 3/10. He's not going to let it go, as I said. Look at that braking, so that's very good for Mr. Holmes. He nails it. Bourne makes a little bit of a mistake, going a little too wide on the entry. But still, the gap remains. These 2 are putting it all on the barbecue. And look at that. This is what we aim for here at the eSeniors. Hard, clean racing. That's what we want. That's
Absolutely
what we need. Oh, that's a slide on home side. Those tires are cooked. And unfortunately, that's just going to make him drop to a second. So now the chances of an overtaking maneuver completely go down. Let's go now with Jeffrey van der Boer, who's really getting close here to Laszlo Nemeth. Look at these 2 fighting on and on and on.
And Jonathan is starting his last lap.
Yes, indeed. He is now on his last lap. Oh my God, look at this. Mr. Holmes has caught up in the last sector. Rivazza has helped him massively. Of course, the Bentley has an advantage there with the curbs. We go now into the last lap. And let's see if any of these 2 are going to have a say on P4. There you see how late the Bentley brakes. Very good lines through there. Bourne barely lifting. The gap's just half a second between these 2. We're going to go for a second with a man who deserves some camera time, and it is Mr. Jonathan Wood. What a race.
Absolutely.
This is the last lap of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go on board with him and give him the recognition that he deserves. We see his helmet view. This is what Mr. Wood is seeing at the moment. What a drive. We need to move for a second. Mark Rogers makes a mistake and goes wide. Why is he still going that slow? Wait. Let's take a quick replay of that. What has happened there? What has happened there? Is he running out of fuel? Because it's not moving. Oh my God, I think he is running out of fuel, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
it is the fuel indeed.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Not enough gas. Oh my god, that is so unfortunate on the last lap. There you
And
see.
Jonathan Wood takes the race. He's
What a
crossing the
race.
finish line. What a beautiful race. Congratulations, Jonathan.
Wait, Christopher as well.
Oh,
Gaiola gonna take the
guys are
P2.
running out of fuel.
Give this man a round of applause for Mikael Hogbert. My god, what a race. Chris Brown on P4.
Yes, very nice, very nice.
Craig on P5. Moses on 6. Pocock is gonna end it on 7th, even though he made the mistake. But wow, 2 people out because of fuel. There you see Christopher parked. That is very unlucky. Don't tell me it's a 3rd one, for the love of God. Roman Mark is really going slow. I think he's not going to be able to make it through. And he's just going to lose everything. Let's see if he's going to have enough in the tank. He's for sure going to lose a couple of positions. There you see now he's about to do. Then you see the fight between Cruz Baker and Rich Pornoff. Oh my god, he's really going to make contact because of him taking the racing line. But at the end, Baker and Pornoff make it through him. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been it for us tonight. Mr. Robo, thank you very much for being here with me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Juan. Thank you everyone for joining us. Great race. Looking forward to the next one.
You damn right we are. Thank you very much, everybody. Fuel pandemic. I love you, Petri. Thank you very much, my friends, for watching us. Have a great evening, and we will see you next time. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave you with the timetable. Thank you, and have a good one.